Today we are reading In Love at Ease, Everyday Spirituality with Pramukh Swami Maharaj. Here we are still in the second chapter called In Love. The author, Yogi Trivedi, was a devotee of this great spiritual master to millions, saw that he was truly in love with everything. Let's recount some happy memories, and maybe we can feel a bit of that love also. I like your hypothesis, Greg R.G. Observing the little things in love can make a big difference. Swamishri observed the smaller details, which often had large impacts. He intentionally did this to then communicate and provide based on those observations. Swamishri used to walk for at least 30 minutes, twice a day. It was an integral part of his daily routine for his health, but also important to him since it provided him an opportunity to interact with those who had traveled for his darshan, his abiding presence, his sight. One crisp and clear winter morning, Swamishri was walking in the courtyard of the Ahmedabad Mandir. Sanjay, Parikh, hurried into the courtyard and stood against the wall. He had made it in time for darshan every morning since he had started living in the Mandir complex. Sanjay was the skillful engineer and full-time volunteer who had dedicated his life to service through humanitarian projects and building stone mandirs, Hindu houses of worship, and cultural complexes around the world. The distance from Sanjay's room to the courtyard was so short that wearing slippers, a jacket, or a shawl in the morning was more of an inconvenience than a necessity. For the past few days, Swamishri had noticed Sanjay standing in the cold without warm clothing and footwear. It did not sit well with Swamishri. That afternoon, after Swamishri finished his meal and sat on the floor with the sadhus and bhaktas, the monks and devotees, he noticed Sanjay sitting in the back and called out to him, "Aren't you cold?" Sanjay was dumbfounded. He responded, "Swamishri, even winter afternoons in Ahmedabad are summer-like. How can I be cold?" Swamishri clarified, "Not now. I am talking about the morning. I noticed that you have been coming for darshan every day for the past 2 weeks. You never have shoes or a shawl on. I will order both for you. Please take care of yourself. I worry about your well-being." Sanjay reassured Swamishri that he was fine, but the Guru knew his disciple all too well. He stood up and walked towards his room to arrange for winter clothing for Sanjay. Thank you for asking, Sammy. Sleeping a little better last night, thank you. And namaste, feline. For Swamishri, nothing was too big or too small of a concern in the pursuit of love. Swamishri spent an extensive amount of time consoling and counseling people about issues relating to their education, marriages, businesses, home construction, and healthcare. He never tired of lending an ear and giving advice when he thought appropriate. Therefore, people came to him with all types of concerns, but Swamishri never turned them away. When others learnt of the spiritual masters feeling troubled at the petty worldly issues affecting the lives of those he met, Swamishri would remind them, "If I do not stand by people in their everyday lives, they will not be able to turn to faith in matters beyond. A comfortable mind, body, and family facilitate the eternal soul in its search for the divine. Generations of bhaktas from around the world reached out to Swamishri through calls or letters to ask questions about their lives. And as an aside, the present president and guru of the same organization, BAPS, since Pramukh Swami Maharaj has left his body, there is now Mahant Swami Maharaj, and he does many of the same things for his devotees and anyone who messages. There's an email that maybe Sky Guardian can provide for you. If you want to email Mahant Swami Maharaj, he will email you back, even though he gets millions of them. And it's quite amazing that this feat is even possible today. He must spend a lot of time every day doing so. This required him, Pramukh Swami Maharaj, to have an immense breadth of knowledge and an even deeper reservoir of patience. While interviewing hundreds of people for this book, I realized that many missed this aspect of Swamishri's personal love. They enjoyed being able to write to him and get clear direction on how and what they should do. Sejal Patel is a successful business executive in California with a loving husband and 3 beautiful kids. She recalls Swamishri's personal guidance and responds to each letter she wrote about selecting a college, a life partner, and later a career path. The circumstances and timing of Swamishri's response to her letter about deciding on her first college degree and institution still moves her. In 1991, when the community was preparing to celebrate CFI in New Jersey, there remained a long list of last-minute details that were not yet to be sorted and finalized. For example, the site for the festival was decided just 2 months before its opening day. Accordingly, Swamishri and the leadership team were extremely busy and focused on this project. Meanwhile, young Sejal was graduating from high school in America and had faxed a letter to Swamishri in Sarangpur, India, asking if she should attend Columbia University for her bachelor's or enroll in an accelerated medical school program. Communication with India was intermittent, and the silence was only adding to Sejal's anxiety. In May, a week before her deadline to decide which program to pursue, Sejal received a call from a senior member of the community. Swamishri had received her fax and suggested that she attend Columbia University. A formal response to her fax would be sent soon. 16-year-old Sejal was overjoyed. This choice set her life in motion. It is where she developed her career and met her husband. Now, in her 40s, Sejal understands and appreciates her guru's dedication and kind attention in responding to her personal query amidst the planning for a historic cultural event for the community and the Indian diaspora. Love can, at times, become a game in which some aim to gain control. Swamishri exuded and inspired a love that was not meant to control or subdue those he served and comforted. His only goal was to console and encourage. It was the day of Murti Pratishta, Mandir inauguration, ceremony in Clarkston, Georgia. Swamishri inaugurated several mandirs around North America in 1988, including this one in suburban Atlanta. The Guru was calmly having his early morning breakfast. However, frenzy surrounded him as others prepared for the ritual to start soon. To add to that frenzy, 5-year-old me, Yogi Trivedi, the author, was running in and out of the room. I was hungry and could not decide if I wanted to eat. I do that too. Swamishri asked me to join him for breakfast several times, but I declined. I kept saying, "I will have something after you finish. You first." I thought I was being polite. Little did I know that there would be no time left after the Guru finished his breakfast. After about 15 minutes, I could not control my hunger any longer. I sauntered into the kitchen and returned with a disposable plate and glass. Swamishri, on the other hand, was just about to finish his meal. The others near him were displeased. One of them even said, "You did not sit down to eat when you were told to, and now..." Swamishri cut him off. "Hold on, Yogi. Come here. Near me. What would you like? Pick whatever you want from this plate." I pointed at a few things, which Swamishri gently placed on my paper plate. Everyone was in a rush except for me, and Swamishri was moving at my pace. He answered all my questions and even found something sweet for me to eat. "What would you like to drink?" he asked. "What did you have?" I inquired in return. Swamishri pointed at the warm masala milk in the small steel bowl. "Is it warm?" I asked. "I only like warm masala milk." The sadhus and bhaktas had grown more impatient in the meantime. They wanted to send me into the adjacent room and get on with their big day. Swamishri, in contrast, was focused on loving. He put his pinky into the milk and said, "Yes, it is perfect. Not too hot, not too cold. You will enjoy it." Swamishri poured the milk into my cup and asked me to sit next to him. Everyone else in that room was annoyed by my behavior, and I could sense their frustration. I started to gulp down my food to avoid their angry stares. Swamishri read my mind. He gently caressed my head and said, "Easy, Yogi, easy. Take your time. I am not going anywhere. I will sit with you until you finish. There is no rush. Everything else can wait." Swamishri left the dining hall only after I had finished my meal. He fed me with as much pride and love as when he performed the sacred image consecration rites in the mandir. Several decades later, when I reminded Swamishri of the incident and asked him how I could ever repay him, he said, "Love is not refunded, only inspired. Pass it on." Swamishri's love created a network of bhakti, loving devotion that could be passed on to comfort millions around the world. So, with that, we'll pause our reading there for now. In Sky Guardian, I know you like knowing, we are ending on page 67. Thank you for listening.